all-new episode of the 2-Minute Drive podcast. I'm Palace alongside my co-host, Abraham Trevino. What's up, man?
What's up? What's going on?
Not much. The returning Jake Ramirez off a 4-game IR, broken clavicle. What's up, bud?
Or an Achilles. What's going on, Robert?
Not much. And welcome back to the show for the first time in this second season, Mr. Frank Torres, or as I know him as Paco. How's it going, my buddy?
Hey, it's going. How you guys doing?
Well, what's up, Paco?
I'm ready to go deep.
Let's
Deep.
go, man.
How was your birthday, man? Good?
Yeah.
It was
Happy
pretty
birthday, my
chill.
friend. Happy birthday.
It was
Yeah,
actually the most
late birthday.
chill birthday I've ever had. Like, I didn't do anything.
Oh yeah, man. That's usually the best one. The best
But,
kind of birthday.
At a young
Uh,
28, right? How's it feel to be 28?
No, I'm 22. Yeah, I'm
22, my bad. I'm sorry.
Each leg, yeah.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
All right,
so,
Abe. What do we got on the docket today?
So week 11 is wrapped up in the books. Before we get into to our topics this evening, let anybody want to touch base or on some games from this past weekend that kind of caught your eye or kind of get a head scratcher? Robert, Paco, Jacob, anything?
Let me go
games?
real quick. I got one real quick. Just when I want to continue to believe in Lamar Jackson, here come the Steelers. And it's and I know they have his number, but it's man, if you want to show this is the year that you're going to do it, this is the time to beat the Steelers. And then again, he does the same thing like he did in the Kansas City game where they try to throw it too much instead of going with what works for them in the run game. So I don't know, just points down as far as not being able to get it done in January. I've lost even more faith.
The Bengals and the Chargers. I don't know if you remember, Robert, when the Chargers went into the playoffs and they played the Jags and they were up 24-0, and then the Jags made a comeback. That kind of happened here with the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow was coming on doing a comeback, and I think they fell short towards the end. I think they kind of fell short of that tying the game or whatnot. I think they were trying to do a field goal, right, and then try to do an onside or something like that.
I mean, kind of, but the difference is it's Jim Harbaugh, right? This is not the same Chargers team. They finished out a game. They didn't do any chargering, that's a term. So that this team has made they've turned the page and they've turned a corner. So that's the difference there is Harbaugh just coaching this team, being more disciplined, offense being able to make, one more play. In fact, what got them the win wasn't even a Herbert throw. It was a run from Dobbins that sealed it for them. So
Right.
This isn't the Chargers of old, and that's a positive you can take away from this team as opposed to last season.
And we're going to touch more on the Chargers coming up a little bit later on in the show. But real quick, I know this doesn't matter, but the Pats, I mean, they kind of kept up with the Rams. The Rams, I know the Rams are not the Rams of the Super Bowl days, but they still got Stafford, they still got Puka, and they still got Cooper and stuff like that. So I mean, for them to only lose by 6 points, I mean, I don't know, Robert. I mean, I think maybe the Pats could be maybe one player that top right out away from maybe competing. I don't know. I could be wrong, but the Pats, I mean, I think Drake May might be the deal.
I don't want to take up too much time because we have other panelists here, but I'm excited for Drake May. The fact that he's doing it with barely anybody just shows once he does get a true number one and maybe a little bit better O-line help. I mean, this kid looks like he's going places quick. Kind of like his comp was who we just talked about earlier was Justin Herbert. They said he was kind of comparable to him, just not as polished. But I mean, that guy's not afraid to sling it, man. That guy's not afraid to run up in the pocket, and I'm super excited. But Paco could probably speak more to as far as the Rams and I mean how they let the Pats stay competitive with them. I don't know, is there slippage? Is this just a one-off, or are the Pats making improvements? Or I don't know. What do you think, Paco?
I know that this season, the NFC West is so weird, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I can't figure it out. Some reason, one game, it looks like the Seahawks are insanely good at defense, and then next game they get pummeled by a
Right.
team that is like 500. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it this season. I wish I could like explain what's going on, but honestly, it's just extremely bizarre. Like the Rams on paper have a really good offense, and they're just lacking on defense. But sometimes defense shows up, and like
Mhm.
I don't know what to make of it. Like, it's
Yeah.
weird. It's kind of like my 49ers season, which I will maybe get into it later, but sheesh.
I think, and I mentioned this on the show. I think we left the era of where there was going to be like no more dominating teams. We don't see, Brady's Pats or Drew Brees' Saints or Peyton Manning's Colts. I think those days are kind of gone for right now because everybody's too young. So you're going to see a lot of like back and forth, and it really has become a week to week league. And, people laugh at like my standings sometimes where they're like, oh, how do you not have this team or whatever? It's like, well, stuff changes quickly. Like, I haven't had the Vikings on there for a while, but they've been kind of like up and down since they started pretty fast early, but now they're kind of like middle of the pack right now. But yeah, it's a weird time right now. And, you know, obviously you're always going to have your bottom tier teams, but anybody from the mid up, like you almost have a chance almost every week to pull up an upset.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Good stuff, guys. So that's going to wrap up week 11. Let's go ahead and dive into our first topic, and this is going to be more on Paco here. San Francisco, they're sitting at 5-5. They're last in the NFC West. I know they said that Purdy's kind of hurt a little bit. It might be I think it's the shoulder.
Correct.
They haven't said anything about him missing time. I'm not sure what's going on, but what's the turnout if he does miss time? I know Dobbs is a backup. The next 5 games, fellas, is the Packers, Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins. Paco, your thoughts on where this is your team? So I mean, this is your time to go ahead and dive in and give us your intel on this.
Yeah, feel free to cut me, whenever you want, because I could go all day. But here's what I'm trying to, sum up my opinions on this is it feels to me that this is a different and every year, yeah, you have a different team, but like for pretty much the same roster, pretty much it feels like a completely different team. And what I mean by
Right,
that is if you check last year in the red zone, we were number one offense, number one
yeah,
scoring touchdown offense in the league. Right now we're like 29 or 28.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that does come to McCaffrey not being there, but it cannot
right,
just be one thing. It has to be several things for that extreme gap. That difference is huge. And also, um, yards after catch has been pretty much the same deal. Like we were probably best in the league. I think we were best in the league for the past like 5 years. And this year we're like 20 some. It's just like I don't know if like maybe teams have figured out uh the best coverages against like an all around 49ers offense. I don't know if it's just I don't know, just not going back to basics or something like that.
right.
Yes, we have had a lot of injuries, but every team has injuries, so that's not an excuse to not perform well unless it's
Mhm.
like, a superstar QB or something like that. But even then, like it's a team sport. So and the defense, but this was kind of similar last year. We cannot stop the run, and teams whenever they do need points or like a solid drive to cap it off, they have been running and
Right,
scoring like that. And in this league, in my opinion, the number one thing you have to do as a defense is stop the run. And the number one thing you have to do as an offense is run whenever you can, like run the ball.
right. Yeah,
And we're not doing that like last year at all. So it's
I,
either a CMC thing, it's either a, mentality thing. It's either Brock Purdy trying to sling it too much, or like, I don't think it's his call, to be completely honest. Or like the coach just being like, we're going to change it up. I don't know what it is, but I
right.
do know that the results are what I just said. Like that is basically the difference.
I
Let
got
So
me
if
let me get in
oh
here real quick. Based off of what I'm seeing on the stats here, I mean, you guys just got McCaffrey back. He's what, second game,
Yeah.
Paco?
Yeah. Second game.
Second game. Let me see. His rushing yards, 19 carries for 79 yards. I mean, for a second game back, dude, based on his injury, not too bad. But I think it's also missing Ayuk. That's huge.
but he hasn't been a
Debo,
factor this year. Can you agree on that,
but
Paco?
he's
Ever since they signed him, like,
Yeah.
or even
Nope.
before, like the contract, like he hasn't really been
but
existent as he was in the past.
yeah,
okay. That may be he's still a star receiver for them. Debo Samuel, 22 yards, four
yeah.
receptions. That needs to go up in order for you guys to make something happen. Uh, Jennings, 91 yards, 10 receptions. That's pretty good. Um, yeah. Brock
I
Purdy,
mean,
21
I
for
mean,
28.
Jawan Jennings and Kittle. I mean, they've been stepping it up. Because I mean,
Yeah.
Debo Samuel, he gets injured. He's always getting injured, or there's always something going on. But Paco, I wanna ask, if Purdy can't go, I mean, Dobbs is the next one up, the next man up. I want your thoughts on that, and then I want your prediction on the next 5 games. Where you have the 49ers at.
So I actually I thought that the second one, like the second string quarterback, was Allen, and but whatever. Like even if it's Allen or Dobbs, like it's not gonna be as good in my opinion at all. But I mean, I know coach can definitely dial up some game plan to strength their to like buff their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. So I don't know. I don't know if he can go. It's probably gonna be rough. I think he will play though. Like what I see like videos of it every day and shit. So I think he will play.
Right.
Excuse me. And the schedule is rough. Like it's been rough for a while. Like we faced the Chiefs, we kind of got a break with the Cowboys, and then it was just like Seahawks. Sorry. And so the schedule is rough. I see, like in my opinion, like I think I posted this somewhere. I don't think we're gonna reach like the. I think we do reach the playoffs. I don't think we'll reach championship game. And if we can, like the team is stacked with talent for sure. I just
Right.
realistically don't see it with the way we're playing right now. And like if they get their shit together and play according to their names, to the roster, then we can win all those games. But I don't see that happening. I think the Bills sadly beat us. And what was the other one? Because I know
So
Packers, we can take
you got
down the Packers.
yeah you got Packers, Bills, Bears, Rams, Dolphins.
Dolphins gonna be sketchy, and yeah,
Ram.
I think we're okay. I think we can beat the Rams. Like if if you think about it, all 3 games against the division, all 3 games, the Niners were on top easy the whole game,
Yeah.
and then
Right.
final quarter, final drive, everything went wrong. Like in 2 of those 3, literally every facet of the game went wrong. Defense couldn't stop shit. Offense couldn't do fucking drops, missed field goals, missed extra points, muffed punts, blocked field goals. Everything went wrong.
How much of
And
this, I wanted to ask you, Paco, because there's 3 points I actually wanted to make about the Niners struggles.
yeah,
One, like, what do you feel about the age of the team? They are getting up there.
yeah.
Synergy. I know you mentioned it's a team sport, but like, how many times like can we count total that everybody's played together? Probably you can't even count more than one hand.
Nope.
And then third, how much of this is a little bit also on Kyle Shanahan, especially you mentioned like blown leads and, stuff messing up on special teams, stuff like that. You think back to his time in Atlanta when he blew the Super Bowl with the Patriots. And it's like that's kind of been his reputation because even in this Super Bowl, they had everything going their way. And then for some reason, like they just went away from their identity and then they just blew a lead. And it's like some of this has got to go on Shanahan too, no?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does. And I think Shanahan, I think, I don't know, like if everything goes according to Shanahan's plan in his head, I think whatever he draws up is awesome. The problem is that it doesn't. Like it's the NFL. It's not gonna go the way you think all the time, man. Like you
Right,
have
right.
to like adapt on the fly. You have to sometimes go back to like the booklet, the textbook, like football 101. You do this and you don't stop being a genius, for a little bit. And that's where I think he struggles because like in his head, it might work, but the execution of whatever he plans is not gonna be perfect all the time. I think that's his issue when it comes to like blowing leads. Because I feel them. I'm like, okay, like they're expecting a run. Let's go for a pass. This what's gonna happen. The safety's gonna come down. You can take advantage of that, but then the execution's not there because of a misassignment. And oh shit, I look like a dumbass now. And it has happened. I mean, I'm not saying he's not to blame. I'm saying like maybe cut down a little bit on all that a little bit sometimes just to keep the lead by like pounding the ball, like old school style. That's what I think that we should do
I'll
for
say
sure.
this, Paco, for your 49ers, if everybody's healthy, man, by the time y'all reach the playoffs, everybody stays healthy, y'all will still be a force to reckon with. So you ain't got nothing to worry about.
I'm worried. I'm worried. but
He's
but
a man. He's
hopefully,
worried.
hopefully, hopefully we can get it
Last point I
together.
wanted to make, and this may be like a hot take or whatever, but
The
the
age
last two
stakes.
the last two times you've been in the Super Bowl, I think Garoppolo and Purdy are fine quarterbacks. Is it possible you all need that superstar quarterback to get you over the hump?
Oh, now Purdy's not good, huh,
I'm not. I
Robert?
never said he wasn't good.
Oh.
I said he's
I,
fine.
I
Like
see. I see.
he's solid. I mean, but I know that
Yeah.
the superstar quarterbacks are rare in this league. But do you think that's what it's going to take to get over the hump?
Real quick, I could be a real doof, but did the 49ers go back to the Super Bowl twice with Brock Purdy?
No.
No.
Just
It's
the
only
once.
been one Brock Purdy and one Garoppolo,
One Garoppolo.
I
Okay.
don't
both
know. How do you
against
feel
the
about that?
Chiefs.
Is that a little bit of a hot take?
I don't think it's a hot take, but what do we consider like superstar quarterbacks that can win you the game like
I'm
that?
thinking like, do you
Maybe
see these same
three?
issues if you had like Josh Allen on the team, where he can like elevate? And I'm not saying Brock Purdy can't elevate, but I mean to just like a whole other level. A Mahomes, a Lamar, a Burrow, just somebody like that.
I don't know because like for example, Burrow before this last couple of games when he's been popping off against the Ravens terrible secondary by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Before that, Purdy had better stats than Burrow. Like he was
Mhm.
playing better. I'm like so like I don't know. Like sure maybe they're a little bit better too or a lot better when it comes to like putting the game on the line on a fourth quarter comeback. Okay, like I'll give you that, but like I don't know. I only consider like sadly Mahomes to be like the superstar quarterback. 'Cause I don't like the guy, but I mean, I hate him because like he beat my Niner. Nothing
Yeah.
personal. And I don't know, like other than Tom Brady, Stafford. I would say Stafford is another one. Other than that, I don't think any of the other ones are like put the game on the line and automatically I trust.
I only say
I
that because I think you all are coming up close to having to whether you're going to pay him or not, right? And the
yeah,
question is like, what kind of money are you going to give him? Because if you give him like like a Dak type of deal, then you're not going to be able to keep a lot of those players that you all have
for sure.
now.
Yeah.
So, and Brock probably is going to want to get paid based on, he was part of the team that helped get to the Super Bowl. So he's got like kind of like the leverage right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And plus he's the only one been consistent and he hasn't gotten hurt and he's played all these games. So he has all that on his side. So I'm just wondering if they're going to give him the bag and if he's like the guy like that you think is going to be the nucleus to like get this team not only back to a Super Bowl, but to win it all.
I mean, it's the Chiefs and it's Mahomes, so I think I mean, we can't prove this, but if it's any other team and with any other quarterback, I think we win those two games. Um, but still, I think that Brock Purdy is good enough because the way he reads the play,
Oh, I love his play. Like,
he's
don't get me wrong.
super fast,
Yes.
and I think it's going to get better because that's something that it's maybe not teachable or coachable, that quickness of in the split second. The rest he can definitely improve on. Um, Now I don't know. I think he's gonna get the bag. I'm thinking and hoping that he's gonna be like, I don't want that much, you know. Give me less. Let's keep some of the other homies
Yeah.
in the team, you know, like kind of like Brady.
Mm.
I'm hoping that's the case. He's like a really like standard humble dude, so maybe. I mean,
Okay.
there is
But
a small chance.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the Niners they signed Ayuk, so he's out of the way. I know I'm pretty sure they signed Debo, right? I think they signed him a year ago or 2 years ago. They signed him.
After this
Um,
year, he can go to another team. Like, yeah,
okay, so
his extension's already up.
I think you might let him walk because he's injury prone. He hasn't been really the Debo from a few years back. But I think your main guys are like get Ayuk back into the fold, and then Kittle. I think you need to keep Kittle.
You need to
Of
keep
Yeah.
Williams
course,
too.
yeah,
Oh,
and I mean you've got CMC, and then you've got I think Bosa is the heart of your defense. So I mean you kind of got to build around him. So I mean I say why not give Purdy because who else can go in there? I mean you're obviously not going to get Joe Burrow, but I think Burrow would look good there in the Niners, but you wouldn't get him. But I say you keep Purdy, and then I think maybe add another receiver on the other side with Ayuk, and then I mean you just go off of that because you've already got your pieces, and you're not really missing much. So and I think Purdy's an elite quarterback, so why not give him the contract and then just kind of try to add maybe even through the draft like somebody young for a receiver as your
I
number
think
two.
I think receivers are we're okay. Like
Yeah.
we have a rookie that's really good. Two rookies that are good. One hasn't really played much, but he's good. I mean, we'll see.
Who's the one that got shot? Is that Pearsall?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Pearsall, number
Pearsall.
14. He's a
Yeah.
rookie and he's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Kittle and Juszczyk and Trent for me are the biggest question marks because they're old.
Right.
Like Kittle's getting up there. I mean, he's still I think I love him. He's my favorite tight end because he can block.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he's old. Like he's getting there. We just can't seem to find his replacement because like we've tried bringing people from free agency, drafting, and it hasn't happened. Juszczyk is a fullback that can play running back, wide receiver, tight end, you know, and sometimes he can come in clutch, and he's a really good run blocker too. So we haven't been able to figure that out because he's old, and Trent Williams is super old. So like
Oh yeah.
to
Yeah,
me,
Trent
those are
Williams.
the
Yeah.
positions that really we need to take care of before like the wide receivers, and we definitely need another guy to help Bosa when it comes to pass rush because that was just without Bosa we look so freaking bad because we know that they're gonna throw the ball all day, right? And like we couldn't do anything.
My last question to you about the Niners is you mentioned still that you think they're going to make the playoffs. Is it out of the division or is it in the wild card?
It has to be the division, and yeah, so it's gonna be rough because of our division record. But like I hopefully they do. I mean, we might not, but hopefully, I think we do beat the Cardinals and the Rams. So it'll be like a 500 record against the division. I don't think they're that tough. It's just that we blew it, you know. So
And those were
All
home
right.
games, no?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I think the
Yeah.
Rams was. I think it was in LA.
I know
Could be
definitely the
wrong.
Cardinals was a home game,
Yes,
and
that
so
was a
was
home game
the
for sure.
and Seattle too, I
Seahawks.
believe.
But
Yeah.
we already beat Seattle at Seattle, so
Okay, so you split that
Yeah.
one already. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Good stuff, Paco. Always good talking 49ers with you. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Robert was just touching a little bit on them just a little while ago. It's the San Diego Chargers. They are at 7-3, which puts them second in the AFC West. So, yeah, I know you touched upon it a little bit, Robert, but and you can go ahead and say it again. But what is it about this team that to where they have turned it around from a year ago, the year before. I know you mentioned Harbaugh. So I mean, is it the culture? Is it different? Is it because of Herbert, not as injured as much? Um what do you think it is that this team has completely did a turnaround?
It's 1,000% the culture because that's what you need to set first. You need to identify what your team is because this is basically almost like the same roster, right? They lost a couple people, right? But
Yeah,
this was basically the same roster last year, and we kept wondering, like, what the hell is this team? Like, they don't have an identity. The minute
right,
Harbaugh gets there, it's like what his style is. It's very, and Baco could speak to this, very smash mouth, ground and pound. We're gonna get physical with you. We're gonna beat you by the trenches. And last year you saw Herbert probably slinging it more than he probably needed to, and now he's got
right,
a run game to complement. If he doesn't need to throw 50 times, if Harbaugh's gonna be like, we're gonna throw it 20, and we're gonna run the rest. Like, we're not gonna put it all in your hands. So, it's just disciplined football. This is something that the Dallas Cowboys could use. Something like this that would easily you put Harbaugh on the Cowboys, and he'll easily put a culture in there, and like you won't see as many like flags or anything. All of these unnecessary penalties that just set your team back. And that's exactly what Harbaugh has done for this team. And I knew it was going to happen right away. Like he was going to make that kind of impact. Now
right.
they're sitting at what is it, 7-3, 7-4, and like
7-3.
they're in prime position right now. Like if the playoffs started today, I wouldn't want to be a team that faces them, and that includes the Chiefs. Like I feel like the Chargers match up super well against the Chiefs, and I think would give them a run for their money and possibly pull an upset. And that's not me trying to be a hater on Mahomes, which is probably what Jake thinks, but you have to look at how this team plays. And Kansas City's defense is good. Cool. The Chargers defense is just as good and can play rough with you and keep and play the clock game and keep Mahomes off the field. Like Harbaugh's smart. Like it all starts with him.
Right. I do like they lost Eckler to the Commanders, but they also got the running back duo from Baltimore, which was Dobbs and Gus Edwards. I thought maybe losing Keenan Allen might have hurt a little bit, but they got Quentin Johnson, who's phenomenal this year. They still got Palmer. They have Disley, the tight end. So. It's not too bad. I thought they were gonna miss maybe a players here and there, but other than that, I mean, the defense looks like it's playing a lot better too. With I think Bosa's still he's playing, right. He hasn't been injured that much like he usually has.
Yeah, no, he's played.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, like, oh, you thought they were gonna miss like their weapons. They're not a pass heavy team, so they don't really lose much in that aspect because they're gonna balance it out 50-50. It's old school football. Like that's an old school type team, and that's why I can't hate on them. And I love Herbert, but having Harbaugh there just is a nice cap for them.
Real quick, they do have some passing going on too, though. This Lad McConkey kid, he's been having some breakout games, man. I mean, he went 6 receptions, 123 yards, 9 targets. He's been doing pretty damn good. I like my receivers, so he's on my fantasy team too as well. So I'll be keeping an eye on him.
That's why you know who he is. So I was like, why are you throwing out this random name? You would not know him if you didn't have him in fantasy.
I've been watching him the past few weeks.
Full guy.
He's good, man.
Okay. Paco, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, man, he coached my 49ers, and let me tell you, I love that guy. I wish he had stayed with us. He had some issues with upper management. That's why he had to leave. But that team was everything to me. The defense, the punching in the mouth, going to any stadium and just don't care. We're gonna play, and that I love it. I'm so happy. I was actually worried and scared that the Cowboys were going to take him a couple of years ago. And I'm so happy that Jerry Jones is a moron. Thank you, God. Thank you. I was worried. I was definitely worried. Thank God the Chargers got him because I like that team. I like Herbert. I've always kind of rooted for them against the Chiefs, and now I actually do agree with Bobby. They have that type of football that can hurt the Chiefs, especially take it away from Mahomes with the running game. The
Right.
defense is great. I'm telling you, it's great. They should probably be undefeated, man. And what you said, they don't rely on they lost two of their receivers, Mike
Yeah.
Williams and the other dude, and
Uh,
Keenan Allen.
yeah.
And I thought they looked worse from like a talent point of view
Right.
coming
Right.
into these season than last season. And look at that. I mean, and I do have to mention this. Harbaugh is not only great, but very smart. He took
Yes.
Greg Roman as an offensive coordinator, which he had with the Niners, and then went to the Ravens when Lamar was MVP, by the way, with
Right.
a running game and the design runs. And because he was doing that shit before with Kaepernick, but people forget. But yeah, the Lamar running around, that shit was Kaepernick before him with Greg Roman as the OC. And the DC, which is a 41-year-old kid, is doing insane. He was also with Harbaugh, but on the college coaching staff for Michigan. So this guy is smart and he knows what he's doing, and he makes guys believe. So I'm scared of the Chargers. Like AFC, watch out.
Yeah, and yeah, they're doing really well. And on paper, I was looking at it and said, man, it might be kind of like a rebuild kind of thing. But now, it's kind of like, damn, okay, they're for real. And this next segment is going to kind of blend into this topic. So, we're talking about the Chargers and all that. So, would this be one of the teams that you can lean on to take out the Chiefs, whether it be in the playoffs or if in the Super Bowl, who would you lean on? Obviously, it'd have to be an NFC team, but who can get it done in the playoffs on the AFC side, or if that fails, then who's your NFC opponent that you would have to lean on to kind of want to take the Chiefs out?
Who wants to go first? Because I have a lot to say.
Jake?
I'll go quick, or let
Okay.
Jake.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead,
Jake,
Paco.
you want to
Go ahead.
go? From the AFC, there's only a couple of teams that can realistically take down the Chiefs in the playoffs. One of them is the Bengals because they can outscore them, which I think you kind of have to against the Chiefs. One of them is, to me, the Chargers, and the other one, because I'm not gonna say the Bills, because fuck the Bills, they always fuck it up, you know.
I hate the Bills, but I'm going to say the Bills probably are the only ones that could probably defeat the Chiefs. I hate the Bills.
I mean, they had their chances and they always fuck it up, but
that is
I
true.
mean, from a talent point and like, sure, they can, but I just don't think they will. Here's a team that I think might actually give them a rough time. That's my family's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
I'm telling you, watch out. They don't have superstar quarterback play, but they're getting better. Every week, they're finding ways to win, and that's what matters. You don't have to throw for 500 yards. I mean, you have to win the game. They keep finding ways to win games against tough opponents. They barely lost. I don't know who beat them last. Anyways,
was it the Cowboys? I think the Cowboys were the last.
Yeah, the Cowboys.
The Cowboys beat them.
But that was without Russell Wilson, no?
Yeah, that was with Justin Fields.
Yeah. That was with.
I think if Russell Wilson was playing that game, they would have won. But that's just based on what we're seeing right now.
I mean, honestly, who knows what the hell happened?
Fuck up.
Good job, Cowboys. You beat the Steelers, but season's over. Anyway, so I think the Steelers have a shot, and I'm telling you, they're like maybe a player or two away from maybe winning the whole thing, and they might make it. I don't know.
Player or two where though? Because they got a star receiver, they got a nice running back, they got a superstar in T.J. Watt. Like that's like mega superstar, and a competent QB that can make those plays and those kind of like just throw them up and go get it kind of plays.
So
what are they missing?
Coming back to you and your Patriots, I'm gonna go. My favorite coach of all time after Bill Walsh is Bill Belichick. Right? I think he's
Uh,
better. So if it like I listen to Bill Belichick a lot. The way you defend against the Steelers is you double Pickens every single play and you stack the box against the run. And
uh-huh.
that way they have to beat you with another receiver, which I don't think they have. They don't
Okay,
have a
gotcha.
second receiver or a tight end that can actually win the game for them, I
Like if
think.
they had a T Higgins or something like that, right? Like a
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
that's
what I'm
fair.
thinking.
Yeah.
Jake, did you have anything to add before I give my little piece?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Just the Bills. You fucking. Uh,
Uh,
um, for me, it's three. Baco convinced me on the Steelers. I'll put them three. Um, I think this is the best version of the Bills that we've gotten in the Josh Allen era, and that includes when he was with Brian Dable, when he was the OC. I just think he has a better run game now, which is what you're going to need in January. Um, Once Cooper comes into like full health, which may or may not happen, but he's got other weapons, and if you can at least have the threat of Cooper around, that opens it up for these other players like a Kincaid or Knox or I forgot what that other receiver's name is, but
Coleman.
I think Coleman. This is like the best version of the Bills, and Josh Allen. I mean, he's like another one like Burrow, like that just doesn't. He's not afraid. I don't. He's not afraid of Mahomes. He can beat him, but I think he just needed a little bit more to just get over that hump. So I put him at number one, and then number two, probably the Chargers.
Yeah.
Um, Three, the Steelers, and then you mentioned the Bengals. Burrow ain't afraid of anybody, man. That guy's an assassin. But ultimately, it's his
But the
defense
but
that's
the
going to
team,
fail him. What?
but the team as a whole, the Bengals, like you said, like you
It's
just
the
said, the team's
defense.
gonna fail here. Yeah.
The
Well,
defense
not
is
just
going to
that,
fail
but
him.
I mean,
No, it's the defense because the offense is stacked and well, maybe the O line could be better, but even then, Joe Burrow makes stuff happen. So
yeah, he has Higgins, Jamar Chase. He got receivers, yes. But his
yeah,
kicker
his
can't be
offense is
missing.
loaded.
Yeah, but his kicker can't be like if the kicker doesn't miss those two field goals, they win.
True, but I mean, in terms of like who can, the Bengals played the Chiefs earlier this year, and if it weren't for some ridiculous ref penalty on fourth and like 20 some that nobody ever calls, the Chiefs don't get down into field goal range and like win. Like that should have been the Bengals to win. That's why like whenever it's the Bengals and Chiefs, like it doesn't matter. Like it's always going to be super close because
I
Joe
gotta
Burrow ain't
mention this too.
afraid.
Like as far as the Chargers, like if the Chargers lose this game, sure, Harborough, Herbert, and the teams, they got a lot of praise and stuff. But the thing is, the media is going crazy, man, and I think they're having an overreaction to this
About
Chargers
who?
win. And just,
Because
just,
it's
I don't know.
huge,
I saw
Jake.
an
Because
analyst.
it's huge because the Chargers lose this game like 99 times out of 100 in the past because that's what they're known for, blowing
No, I know,
games
but
like this.
again, if the Bengals kicker makes two simple field goals, the whole narrative changes, and the Bengals are in more playoff talk. Joe Burrow's not as so much hate
Not
towards him, and as far
not
as
really.
there's
I don't
different
think a
narratives.
loss I don't think a loss would have hurt them because like you've seen how this team has improved from last season. And the narrative would be, oh, you lost to Joe Burrow, like one of the top five quarterbacks in the league. Like that's not a knock on you.
I'm more saying that the no that the Bengals would have more praise right now if they would have won the game is what
Well,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's just the way
There
the league
wouldn't be so
works. But
much
it
hate.
this does that wouldn't make the Chargers like less talked about. Like they're still like very very formidable.
No, they would be what 6-4 or whatever it is. It would
Yeah,
be.
they'd still be in the playoffs today, regardless if the season ended. Like they're in good shape.
My point is, I'm trying to say is that the Bengals wouldn't be frowned upon as much if they would have won the game. In other words,
Who's frowning upon the Bengals?
like I said, the analysts and people that I've just watched on
What
just
first things
random
first?
ESPN analysts. No, no, not so much them. Just that Joey B's been kind of whatever this year, even though his stats, I'll give you to
Who
he was
has
number
said
one.
that? Whoever's saying that doesn't
Probably
know
probably
anything about
stuff I've seen
football.
on First Things First. I don't know.
Yeah, the people that don't
Whatever.
know anything about the game. They have agendas on that show, Jake. Yeah.
They sit at 4-7. I'm giving your Joe B praise right now, so I don't know why you're hating. I'm actually saying they look okay. Before that, whatever, but we'll see what happens.
You make me laugh, friend.
So okay. So
Super,
Robert, are you good on
super quick question. I'm sorry, for you guys. We mentioned all AFC teams. I purposefully left out the Lions because
yeah.
but how do you think the Lions would square off against the Chiefs? Personnel wise, I think they're awesome, but I don't think they've been there, and that is a punch in the mouth right there when you're facing
That
Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
That and I don't like the way, and I know they beat the Texans, but I don't like the way Goff got rattled in that game. If you watched it, he was scared and he was throwing it away real quickly. Like, he just was missing receivers until finally, like the Houston defense finally just gave out because at some point the defense just gasses out. I didn't like the way he looked in that game. You go back to the game against Tampa where he threw like 3 or 4 picks. Like, you can easily rattle this kid, and I think the Chiefs' defense, even though the Lions have been so dominant, there's just something about like all he needs is a good defense that plays against him, and he gets rattled. So that's the only reason why I would not pick the Lions if it ends up being like, let's say, them and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, I would not put money on it because he can get rattled.
I would 100% put money on the Lions only if they go into all these playoff games and just win, looking really good, then they're going to put it to the Chiefs if the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl as well. That's how I feel. Now, if the Lions lose, in the playoffs, I mean, they're out and shit. It's just, and of course, like, it's over. But
I think if Godwin was healthy, wasn't out for the year, I think the Bucks. I'd probably choose the Bucks to represent, because if you look at the game that they played where they went into overtime, I mean, Robert said it plenty of times where Baker didn't have pretty much anyone. I mean, he had decent receivers, but with Bucky Irving and then that tight end Cade Otton, and then now you got Mike Evans, and then if Godwin, I mean, I'd say the Bucks. Just the only thing with the Bucks is their defense. It's kind of like a hit or miss, but if I felt like they kind of kept up with the Chiefs, so I'd go Bucks. I'd go maybe Lions, NFC. You guys,
I was going to say,
guys...
the Lions is what Paco was referring to, though, as far as the Lions taking on the Chiefs. Like,
yeah. What do you guys think about the Vikings, though? Would y'all I mean, if the Vikings made it,
be interesting.
I think the Vikings defensively could maybe confuse Mahomes, and we've seen him throw picks all season. So I can see him throwing a couple of picks in the Super Bowl, but do I trust Darnold to make one more play and, get that, that higher score than the Chiefs? I don't know.
Okay, Robert. So
I wouldn't put money on it.
Every team, real quick, Robert. Every team that goes to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, you're already basically saying you have no stock in Darnold, you have no stock in Goff. And
I do, but I wouldn't put money on it.
No. So, well, see, then you're already choosing the Chiefs to win it all. Then, like, you're not giving Then who can beat the Chiefs? Like, who would go up against the Chiefs then in the Super Bowl that you see beating the Chiefs?
I can see the Bucks doing it.
Nobody. Who?
I said the Bucks.
Oh my God, Baker Mayfield over Goff and the Lions right now. Come on,
Baker
man.
Mayfield and the Bucks beat the Lions early in the season. They beat the Commanders. They beat a lot of the top teams that are right now up in the NFC. The Eagles. I'm telling you, when Baker Mayfield was playing in Arrowhead, that guy was not scared. He was slinging it all over the place.
That was a close game. I'll give you that.
That's why and that's that he didn't have anybody, and he was doing it.
He was relying pretty much.
I'm not trying to be a homer. I'm not trying to be a homer, but I'm looking at the Bucks on the road didn't have anybody, and defense was playing good enough to make some stops until like the end.
Well,
obviously,
I see your point there, but again, Darnold and Goff are having like MVP seasons, man, and like if they go to the Super Bowl, that's
so is Baker's having an MVP season too. Nobody's talking about that.
Man. I just don't see it. But
don't wipe your nose. Answer.
No, I just don't see them making it out of the playoffs now.
Yeah, but you're saying MVP, like so is Baker.
Lions.
Why do you ignore what the Bucks have done and what Baker's done without his weapons? Goff, I mean, has a stacked roster of offensive weapons. What if he loses St. Brown or, one of those running backs? You still trust the Lions?
No, but that's totally different. Major injuries matter to every team. I'm
Right.
not going
But
to talk
like,
about my Cowboys.
who do you
You already
trust
know.
more?
If
So say it
what?
is that scenario.
If let's say Evans is out or the fucking receiver for the Lions gets out,
I'm
St.
talking the
Brown,
Lions lose St. Brown and they
St.
lose
Brown,
one of those backs and they go
yeah,
into the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. You trust them?
over the Bucks having no Evans, yeah.
Based on what we saw Baker do in Arrowhead
Wait,
and based
wait, wait,
on
wait, wait.
That's not
Robert,
always going to happen, and there's
Robert,
more pressure in the playoffs, Robert.
Robert, what was your question? It's
well,
without
I was saying, do you trust? Because Jake's saying like, "Oh, I trust the Lions" or whatever, and he's
right.
not
As a
giving the
team,
Bucks enough credit, who were doing it without like
Yeah,
weapons.
right.
And I said, if he lost like St. Brown and
Oh,
let's say one of
dude,
the running backs, like, do you trust the Lions to get it done?
no, no.
but you're saying more than one player now. You're saying a running back. You're saying St.
No, no,
Brown.
no, 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 no,
I
no.
named you two
He said,
players.
yeah, he said if you lost St. Brown or a running back.
I gave you the
Well,
So
same
of
amount. I
course.
gave you the same amount that the Bucks lost. They lost their top two receivers in Godwin and Evans, and yet they were
right.
still playing the Chiefs all the way to overtime in Arrowhead on the road.
Again,
If
that's not the playoffs, man, where there's 100% more pressure on
if
everybody.
if the Lions lose Jameer or Montgomery, I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm also
100%.
going off of how Goff was rattled. He was rattled in that Bucks game, and he
Right,
was rattled in that Houston game. Like
right.
you can take him off his game easily.
So pretty much, if no one in the AFC takes out the Chiefs and the Chiefs represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, there's nobody on the NFC side that can save.
I'm not saying it. I'll never say it. They're not going to three-peat. They're not going to
Well,
three-peat.
you're making your
Paco.
case, Robert. You're not trusting the
Yeah,
Lions who are
so
smashing teams and
Yeah,
doing
but I'm
really
not
good.
counting my Bucks out either. They're still in it.
hey, I gave
Fair enough.
the Bucks praise. Robert always thinks I hate the Bucks, but I gave them right now. Hey, with Evans coming back, like I said, here we go. They're going to
The
start a
only
run,
reason I'm going to give him
and
praise is because no Godwin, no Evans, and Baker got some stuff done. No star receivers, and I'm a receiver guy. I'll give it to you, Robert. But come playoff time, we'll see.
nah. So going into that, Paco, let's go ahead and get your Super Bowl prediction, and so because I gotta know, like if nobody can take the Chiefs out in the AFC, I mean, who are you gonna have representing? I mean, who do you got going to the Super Bowl?
Listen, man, every year I'm like, you know what? This is my Super Bowl pick. I got this. This year I'm like, God knows, man. Like I'm just gonna, kind of do like, the normal thing, which I hate doing, but
The
I think
49ers?
that, nah, I don't think we make it, sadly.
Not a homer like you, Jake.
If we do, like, I
Exactly.
mean, I still trust my team and believe in my team. Could happen,
Yeah.
but I just don't think it's gonna happen. Um, I I think that I think it's gonna be the Chiefs against the Lions, and
Yep.
I don't see
Yep.
anybody else taking it. I was shocked when Tampa beat the Lions. I was shocked. The Arrowhead game, I mean, props to Baker and the offense, but I think that the Chiefs have been playing kind of bad.
Freaky.
Yeah.
For the Chiefs, they've been playing kind of if they were playing their normal offense, or
That's what
good
I'm saying.
offense,
They've been
they
there for
could.
the taking.
I mean, if that shit keeps happening, sure. I mean, Denver was gonna beat them.
Denver should have beaten them.
Are we saying
99
Broncos are a way better team? Like, no. It's just that Chiefs have won because of every single circumstance in the game so far, you know.
Right.
Ladies and
But
gentlemen, once
Wait,
they
hang
get
on,
that
hang on, hang
Pacheco,
on.
if
Let
they
me a-
click, and they can offensively, I don't think Tampa's defense can stop them.
Oh no,
I don't.
I agree. I agree there. I wanted to ask you, Paco, lastly, what is your thoughts on my? I've never been this type of person to say or complain about this, but I've just seen too much video evidence of it. How much
oh,
are the
here we
refs
go.
as
Oh,
far as like with some of these calls? with the
Yeah, I
Chiefs that are
mean,
just they come at the most convenient times.
it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, the blocked field goal was scripted
Oh
or
yeah,
anything.
no,
I'm not going that far,
Robert,
but I mean, I've shown evidence of all the holding calls against the Chiefs, all the false starts against the Chiefs, never being called. I mean,
I
at some
mean,
point,
where
it's
there's
just
smoke,
way
there's
too
fire.
much, you know, like.
Even before Mahomes threw that pick in the final drive against the Bills, if y'all noticed, there was a play where they stopped it, and it was clear that the Chiefs receiver dropped the ball, and even the broadcasting team was like, "Oh, they should have reviewed that. That should have been like a non-catch," but they just kept the drive going. They didn't even think to review it, and I'm just like, I don't want to believe like that stuff is fixed, but then when you show me stuff like that, it's like it's hard to at least not question and be like, what is that about? Because anybody else,
Yeah.
they would have been like, nah, that play's going to get reviewed real quickly. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
All
Jake,
right. So
Jake doesn't actually watch games, so he doesn't know
no,
the ins and
no.
He
outs
See,
looks
of
the
at
thing
the
college.
is, Robert,
stats.
you've always been real quick. You've always said that the NFL's not collusion and there's no it's not fixed and shit like that. So I'm gonna believe you, and I'm gonna say that the shit's not rigged. There was no deflate gate, other shit like that. So yeah, the no call, no catch with Dez. There's all
No,
this
but
shit.
the no call thing with Dez, that was a
Nah,
wrong call, but it
yeah,
was the way the rules were written at the time. Like that
nah.
was correctly called. The rule was shitty, which they changed, by the way, but it was correctly called. So you can't use that as like, oh, that's they were against us or whatever.
Everybody that watches NFL knows that was a catch. So it's
Yes,
whatever.
Jake, and Jake, that's why they've changed the rule, and now like that is a catch
That's
because
bullshit. Either
of the
way,
complaints of that
that
stuff.
took away
yeah.
our Super Bowl with Romo. All good.
Oh man. And all right. So Robert, next week we get to change our picks for
Super Bowl
the
pick.
No, you know what? I'm
turkey.
gonna go
Yeah.
out on a limb. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna keep mine. Bengals, Buccaneers. They're about to go on some runs
Oh,
here. I'm not
All right.
changing them.
Well,
I'm keeping
okay.
it.
So I mean, mine's the Houston Texans and Detroit Lions. I'm probably going to change that up. We'll change them next week on our Thanksgiving
well,
show.
folks, real
I
quick.
got
Hey,
Robert, you're going to stick with Cincy and Tampa. Jake, you got the Jets and the Lions. I hope you're changing that next
no,
week.
no, hold on. Hold on.
I said changing next week, not right now.
No,
I'm not,
hold on. The reason why, folks, I have to maybe make my change right now or at the end of the show is I will be out on IR with a dental procedure that I'm having. So I will not be on the show, unfortunately. We'll see what guest is on the show next week.
Nobody's really worried about that because you picked the Jets to go to the Super Bowl. But anyway, Brandon's
But
got the Chiefs.
okay, but I get to choose
Brandon's
my
got the
second Super
Chiefs.
Bowl pick.
Okay,
Nice
but
try.
Brandon's got Chiefs and the Lions. Eli got Lions, Chiefs. Uncle Ray got the Texans and the Lions. Paco got the Chiefs and the Lions. Anybody else that listens out there, if they want to submit their picks, I mean, I'll write them down and I'll announce them on the air. Why not? But Jake, you can just send me yours. I'll write it down and I'll announce it next
Okay.
week. But
All right.
I'm not
Fair enough.
really worried about that. You being on the IR like always. But
Oh, okay, because I'm not
now
having a
that
major dental surgery. Okay, whatever.
anyway, let's get on track here. Let's go ahead and dive into our top 5 power rankings.
Is it only for this week or like overall?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This
Yeah,
week.
just for this week.
Yeah, this week. Yes, sir.
All right.
So let's go ahead and let's dive into it, and let's go have Paco go at number 5. Who's your number 5?
Can you pick somebody else, please?
All right, let's go.
I'm missing a couple teams. Sorry.
I'll go first.
All right, Jay, go ahead.
At number 5, I have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at 8-2 currently. Saquon Barkley could be up for comeback player of the year. It's either going to be him or maybe Derrick Henry or Sam Darnold in that category.
All right.
But yeah, the Eagles are looking really good. To be honest, I think the Eagles will come out of the NFC winning the NFC East.
What?
As
I
much
thought you
as I
said it was
hate
going to be
them.
the Cowboys.
Oh, they have no Dak, but no Dak, no chance. Shout out to Brandon. He knows my no Dak, no chance.
The
man.
dumbest
Eagles
line
Eagles win
ever.
the NFC East.
Dumbest line ever created. Who's that?
Who's your
Robert,
number 5, Abe?
My number five is the San Diego Chargers.
Los
I don't think
Los
I've.
Angeles Chargers.
Oh yeah, Los Angeles. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't think I've ever had them on my top five power rankings, but like have we been, like we've been talking, really good football team, the culture change. I like Herbert. I've always liked him. I've got Chargers at number five. Robert.
I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, they just continue to impress, especially Russell Wilson. We all counted him out, and he's making a little resurgence here with his career. And Mike Tomlin's looking like a genius making the switch. Because remember, the Steelers were what 4-2, I
Four,
believe, with Justin
four,
Fields.
4-0.
4-0 with
Yeah,
Justin Fields.
with Fields. Yeah,
Wait,
No,
so
no,
Russell
no.
Wilson? No,
4-2, and now
Hmm.
it's the 3 and
four and
3
two.
now, or 4-0.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
4-0.
4-0.
4-0 with Wilson.
No, 4-0 with the Fields.
No, Fields they lost against the
Yeah, they
Cowboys.
lost.
No, yeah.
Oh
No, I
yeah,
think
so
with the
3 and
Cowboys.
1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1.
But
Russell's
yeah,
on an undefeated streak, I believe.
yeah, he is. He is on an undefeated streak. Either way, Mike Tomlin's looking like a genius, possibly coach of the. There's a lot of contenders right now for coach of the year, but I would put Tomlin up there. Um, yeah, I mean, until another team like stomps him into the ground or whatever, like they may just climb up the rankings here week to week for me.
All right, Paco,
Paco?
you got your five?
Yeah. So number 5, and it's the Vikings. I think they look good. Um, kind of going back on track a little bit, and I'm not gonna say much about the top 5 because it's always changes.
It's a week to week league.
Yeah.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Chargers, and you guys talked about it already. 3 is the Steelers. I think even I'm always rooting for the Steelers because of my family, but it's always like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna make it, but I'm still rooting for them.
Yeah.
This season they kind of just snuck up on me. I
Oh, yeah.
wasn't expecting that. And number 2, Lions, because they did look dominant, like 52-6 is just insane. And the Bills, of course. I mean, how can you not have the Bills against the Chiefs? You know, actually winning in the
Right.
season game, which they do sometimes. They always choke on the playoffs. You know, but, okay.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Jake, who's your 4?
I have the Pittsburgh Steelers again. Russ is on this undefeated little streak, like Robert, to piggyback. Mike Tomlin always is he's been a good head coach for years, so it's nothing changing. Is their
Right.
defense helping them out as well? Of course. But like Robert said, they're going to get stomped at some point, and then
Wait,
we'll see
I
what's up.
never said they were going to get stomped. I said until somebody stomps. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm not predicting
Well,
that.
I'll look at their schedule, but I'll see which stomp they're going to get.
Robert, who's your 4?
My number 4 is the Los Angeles Chargers. Great win on Sunday that just kind of turned the momentum into them being like a contender. Because as we mentioned, 99 times out of 100 in the past, the Chargers lose that game. So good win for them.
Nice. Yeah, my number 4, I got the Steelers. They're surprise that should have been a surprise team for me to pick. But they're looking good. I like the trades they did during the trade deadline, and I kind of see them still trending up. So we'll see. I got Steelers. Who's your 3, Robert?
I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I love their talent and their squad. What really holds me back from putting them higher is just I think their coach is going to cost them in the end, man. Like I don't trust
Right.
them situationally when it comes down to it. I think in the playoffs it's going to come down to that because talent wise, we know they're there. Like just, I mean, Saquon should be in the conversation for MVP as well. Hurts is playing solid. It's got Smith and AJ Brown there on the wings.
Right.
So again, it's just going to come down in the playoffs. It comes down to which coach manages the clock and doesn't make that blunder of a call. So I don't trust Sirianni in that spot.
Right.
Real quick,
Yeah,
since we're talking Eagles, question for you guys. So comeback player Saquon possibly in the running?
No, because he played last year. No, usually comeback isn't it for players that are like injured and like
Yeah, like Rodgers, that would be considered it.
yeah, Rodgers would be like, but I mean like he's not gonna win it, but that would be like a story. Like if he had
Yeah.
played incredible coming off that Achilles injury.
Right. So Yeah, Jake, no.
Okay.
My number three is the Eagles. How huge is this win for the Eagles, Robert? Because they got Saquon, and how stupid does it make the Giants look? Because instead of keeping Saquon, they kept Daniel Jones and gave him that contract. So I would have rather kept Saquon and ditched Daniel Jones and maybe get or go with some other quarterback. But I got Eagles at three. They're looking good. Their defense is kind of wishy-washy sometimes. But with the receivers staying healthy, like AJ Brown and Smith, and then with Dallas Goddard with the tight end, they look like a wrecking force
I think
until,
what's gonna help the Eagles also is their schedule is very light.
yep,
So, but like I said, I think they'll get exposed in the playoffs. But that's just my thinking. But
right,
they have a good path to possibly even still for the number one seeded, like if they don't lose out or anything like that.
nice. Jacob,
Yeah, so I got number three. The Kansas City Chiefs dropped to the third spot after they lose to the Bills and Josh Allen. Uh, Allen looked pretty good, but like Paco said, and like I said, the only team that I think, and because he got over the hump and they're looking really good, the Bills, and he's looking good, uh, can, can he not choke in the playoffs like he's always done against Mahomes
Okay,
when
that's
it
good. That's
matters?
good and all, but we're talking about why you have the Chiefs at number three. Don't talk about the other team. Why do you have the Chiefs at three?
Well,
What is
that's
it
what I was
about
getting.
them?
I was still getting to that, but yeah,
Whatever.
that I was getting to say that my point, what I was going to make when you interrupted, was that the
No, no.
Bills will get far, and that's why they deserve the number two spot. That's what I'm trying to say. That
Okay,
they'll
but what
get
do you like about the Chiefs?
that they're still going to make it no matter what. They've
No,
dropped
no,
to the
no, no,
third
no.
spot.
What do you like about the Chiefs at this moment that has them at number three ahead of someone? Who do you have? You have the Steelers, and who
I
else do
was
you have?
trying to make the point that nothing's going to change really with the Chiefs. Even though the Bills did really good, they're probably still going to choke the Bills against the Chiefs, and the
Okay, but
Chiefs will still be good.
what do you like about the Chiefs?
That's what I'm still getting to that the Chiefs are going to flop back to number one. And this is what I'm saying. And that the Chiefs, like nothing has changed. They just dropped to number three. They're still looking good, Robert, just because they lost and dropped this game to the Bills. Mahomes is still good. He threw the
Uh-huh.
pick at
Is
the
he?
end, sure.
Okay.
That cost him the game. Uh,
It doesn't
Kelsey
concern
made
you
it.
that he's thrown a lot of picks this season.
No, like they just dropped to third because of the Bills beating them. They will be back at number one after this weekend when they stomp on Carolina.
Okay, so not
But
much to say about the Chiefs. Got it.
all right. Robert, who's your number two?
My number two is the Buffalo Bills. This is the game that they needed to win. Just in terms of like momentum heading into like obviously for them it's about Super Bowl or bust, right? It's about getting over that hump, and obviously they did it here in the regular season, but had they lost, we probably wouldn't have thought much of the Bills. We probably just would have thrown them in the corner and be like, well, it's just the Bills. Like, this is what's going to happen to them in January. But now the race is on, the heat is on, right? It's like, oh, is this the year that the Bills would maybe do it?
maybe.
And they made a good case. So,
Yeah, my number two
and
is the
and it helps them. Sorry, and it helps them in the race for the number one seed in the playoffs. So if it comes down to it, and if the Chiefs got to go to Buffalo in January, I don't know. I might pick the Bills.
yeah,
That'll be different for
definitely.
sure.
Yeah, I got the Bills at number two as well. They're just playing really good football, and like you said, Robert, earlier in the show, if Coop can get healthy, I mean, it's going to help with Shakur and Coleman and Kincaid and Knox, and with Cook, that's going to all help to where they can. It makes it easier for Josh Allen, and that defense is not looking too bad either. So I got the Bills at number two. Jacob.
Yep. So the Bills take the second spot at 9-2 now. Like pretty much everything Robert said. I mean, it's not going to matter if they can't deliver come playoff time, come January. But like I said, Josh Allen, he made his case. He's looking really good. He outperformed Mahomes, in my opinion, in this game. Um,
Yeah.
but like you said, if they get Cooper back too, I mean, they're going to be a wrecking force depending on how he looks. Yeah, they're sitting at two.
Yeah,
Yeah, go
how
ahead
come you
and
had
give us your
stuff to
one.
say about the Bills, but you really had nothing to say about the Chiefs? Why are they number three? Why are they in your list? All you named was de facto because of other teams. Like, well, you frustrate me. This team frustrates me. Like, I don't know why everybody puts them on this pedestal. Like,
Because they deserve to be still, just because they dropped one game and now their undefeated streak goes to one game. Now all of a sudden they're not in top five, Robert. Come on.
Didn't Jake put the Cowboys like on the top five when they got annihilated
Yeah,
against the Saints? He did, right?
yeah.
He put them at the top, like number five. They were like number
I don't know
two.
about that. We'll have to check the tape on that.
We'll
Yeah,
check
and
the
I think
tape.
so. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, Jake, who's your number one?
I got the Detroit Lions, man, who basically is one of my teams in my Super Bowl pick. They are stomping teams. Sure, they might have struggled this last game, Robert, or whatever, or Goff got rattled. They're still sitting at 9-1. Coach Campbell, I love his after locker room speeches. He always gets the team going. There's that culture you need, like Robert always talks about. The Chargers have that with Harbaugh. They got that. The Lions have that with Campbell. Yeah, they're gonna go far. We'll see what happens though. Abe?
All right, my number one is going to be the Detroit Lions as well. I mean, they just dismantled the damn Jaguars. I mean, but I like the Lions right now, and we'll see what happens. It's always about the postseason, you know, what happens there. So in the playoffs, so I got the Lions at number one. Robert?
I got the Lions as well. They kind of remind me of the Pats in '07 with Brady and Moss, like where they were just like stomping on these teams on their road to like the Super Bowl. We know what happened there, so I'm just saying like there's a bit of history there, like as far as like don't count on a team that's just smashing people all the way through. Like they can be had. I mean, gosh, just surplus of weapons. St. Brown is incredible. I got him in fantasy, and I got Gibbs too. Like they've just put me like way over the top these last couple of weeks. And Jared Goff's playing like the football of his career right now. Like he should also be in consideration for MVP. I know they're going to talk about Lamar and Josh Allen, but Jared Goff, like how many games already has he had like a perfect passer rating? And like he threw that one game where like he threw no incompletions. Like that's unheard of. I don't even think Brady did that. So it's like, jeez.
Right.
What shocks me is he's not even top five for passing, which is insane because I thought he would at least be top five.
You don't have to.
I know. Again, yards is overrated, my friend.
Time out. I don't know if this is a segment in y'all show, but like, why the hell do you guys have the Lions over the Bills in this week, man? Like it's a weekly thing. I don't get it.
They smashed.
Yeah, but look when they're playing freaking the little Giants over there.
It's the NFL, my friend. They still gotta play. They're all pro teams.
Bills played the fucking undefeated 2-time champs. I don't know.
I mean, you can make that argument. I mean, I won't fight you that much, but just based on like what everybody's doing on that team, I mean, gosh, I don't know. It's hard to not give it to the Lions.
Yeah, how
not
could
only
you not?
that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's okay, Paco. It's okay.
But also because I don't think the Chiefs are as good as advertised. That's the other thing too. Like,
okay,
I've been waiting for a team to beat them because they've been there. The Bucks could have beat them. The Broncos should have beat them. The Ravens on opening night, if it wasn't for a damn toe, any other. If it was the Patriots, they would have called that a touchdown. That happened to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but they called a touchdown against them with that same type of play. The Bengals could have beaten them. Like they're just that 9-0 record was very suspect. And I've called this out even on my own Patriots. One year, I think it was the last year of Brady's season in New England. They went like 8-0, but there was something like suspiciously off about the team, and they got exposed really quickly. And then it turned into like a whatever season after that. And then they got knocked out in the wild card. Like, I just think this Chiefs team is a little overrated. Situationally, they're good, but they're not like, you can say like they're a dominant dynasty if they're doing what the Lions are doing. Then you could be like, oh man, this Chiefs team is awesome, man. But I just, and Mahomes is like, he's not the reason they're winning games. It's their defense keeping them in games. Yeah. Like, be real. I know Mahomes is a top 5, top 3 talent. Like, I know how great he is, but he's not showing it this year.
Robert, if he doesn't throw that pick at the end of the game, man.
What?
They win.
How do we know that? You don't know that. They win. We don't know that. You know the future?
He threw the pick. He threw the pick. That was game. If he doesn't throw that pick, they go down the field. He does
They
a Mahomes.
win. We don't know.
What did he say? He said they win.
They win. I'm gonna clip that.
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna use
doesn't throw
that.
the pick. He threw the pick. You don't know that? Come on, man.
If the Lions go to
Oh
the
my
Super
God.
Bowl, and it's like if Goff doesn't throw that pick, I'm gonna put that. They win. God,
Who knows? We might get to that.
Homer.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Great stuff on the power rankings, guys. This next segment, it's not new. It should have been rolled out. We haven't been really doing it, but this is gonna be more for Robert. This is called Palace Thoughts. This is pretty much Robert just kind of, just giving insight or whatever he's thinking in his mind or brain, whatever you want to call it. But Robert, you've got the floor, you got the mic. Give us what
Real,
you're.
real quick, Robert. I was gonna add. Weren't you gonna mention something about like the show ratings, or did you get that, or
That's
how we're
called
doing?
Palace Thoughts. You fuck.
That's okay. I didn't know if that's what we're talking about or what.
Hang
Did
on.
you
Well,
not just hear what I said right now? I said this is Robert. Kind of just
no,
talking
you
about
said he's gonna
whatever.
talk about anything as far as the show,
Yeah, there you go. They win.
not how
Anyway,
we're doing
Robert.
with ratings. But go ahead,
Robert,
Robert. Since
Robert,
Dave
you got
didn't
the mic.
clarify
Hang
that.
on. I'm pulling up the statistics right now. I just want to give a shout out to our
Robert's thoughts.
fans and our listeners around not only the country but the world. Let me pull it up here. Hang on.
It's probably going to go up with Jake. They win.
Because Robert hates on Mahomes so much, and he has this number one hater guy, Brad or whatever his name is.
Oh,
That's just going to keep getting on you every week, Robert, because you're being crazy with the Chiefs talk.
All right, so just for this year alone, and this starts like back to like the Super Bowl. We're at over like 1,000, like 400 in like downloads of the show, which is just like incredible. Like based on, we've only been doing this a couple of months, right? Because most of the summer we take off and everything.
right.
So as far as like stats, here are like the top 5 countries in the world that listen to the show. So obviously number 1 is going to be the U.S., but then number 2 is China. Number 3 is Singapore. Number 4 is Brazil, and number 5 is Canada.
Man.
And in the U.S. alone, these are our top 5 states of listening to the show. And Texas isn't number 1. You want to guess what number 1 is?
New York?
Anybody want to take? Nope.
California?
California is number 1 for us as far as like the U.S. downloads of the show. Texas coming in at number 2. Virginia coming in at number 3. Delaware at number 4. And Oregon at number 5.
Nice.
And then shout out to Bernie. North Carolina is number 6. So Bernie, if you're listening to the show, we appreciate it.
Nice.
And then in Canada, we're people in Quebec listen to us.
Dang.
In Australia, we got people from Victoria and New South Wales that listen to the show. England, we got listeners there.
Man, nice.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, those are like a couple of the stats. And then where people listen to the show, Spotify has grown a lot. It's number 4, but number 1 that people listen off of, or these are like just some of the different ones. Like people listen off Chrome, Safari, Apple Podcasts, iTunes. I don't know how people listen to iTunes. Is still a thing.
Nice.
People listen off their PS5, so there's all these different routes for this show to be heard on. People shout us out on the Alexa device. There's people that listen through there, so people say, "Hey, I want to listen to 2 Minute Alexa, put on the 2 Minute Drive podcast." So somebody around somewhere is saying that. So that's kudos to who's ever doing that for us. So we appreciate it.
For real, nice man.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think our highest episode of the year so far is still our Super Bowl episode, which I believe Paco you were part of on that one. So
yeah, he was.
Kudos to you on that. So you're on the top episode of the year.
Kudos, Paco. Ah, man, that's great. Awesome stuff, man. I really appreciate all that.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And again, this is a team effort, so this is just appreciation for everybody. And overall, like we're almost at just in the existence of this entire podcast and everything else I've done, almost coming at close to 10,000 like downloads and all that stuff. But that's just downloads. I mean, that's not
Nothing.
people just hearing the show. So I'm amazed that I would have been okay with just getting like 10 listeners in Texas, but we're now
Yeah.
reaching like the world here. So
I think it's about that time. Get
Yeah.
some merch. Get like
Yeah.
a shirt and shit.
The hats.
Something?
I'm looking at the hats.
A hat.
Tell you what, like once Abe gets that logo finished up, we're gonna get merch for our special guests this season. They've all earned it, including you, Paco. You'll
No,
be
I
getting
mean, so
them.
people can buy that
I'd-
shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd also like
We'll,
to do
we'll
something when we
monetize,
give
but
her.
we want to take care of our people first.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
But yeah, no,
Listeners
that's
out
all I
there.
got on my thoughts and just on the stuff.
Okay. All right. Good
Awesome,
stuff.
Robert.
Well,
Thanks for providing that.
good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and get into our weekly stats, our season record picks. Robert, 11-3 for this week.
Let's go.
For last week's pick, I was 9-5. Jake 8-6, and Uncle Ray went 12-2.
Uncle Ray.
So for the season, Robert, you're at 90-60. I'm at 86-64. Jake 73-62, and then with the special guest combined with their records is 43-14. So Robert's got a good 4-game lead over me, but still got a lot of football to play. So
Mm-hmm. All right. Good stuff.
now we're going into our week 12 matchups. Robert, this is where you take over and issue or tell us the picks or the games, the lineups.
Real quick, give the stats for our special guest because Paco's going to need to step up and get some wins that are on the docket for our special guest.
So the special guest is at 43-14.
Okay. All right. Let's see if Paco maybe goes undefeated on his picks this week. Possible.
So
The only one who's done it this year is Brandon, right? Brandon's the only one
yeah.
who went undefeated.
So it's going to be Brandon, and it'll be Uncle Ray, and then Eli, because Eli went, I think, like 9-5 or something. But yeah, it's up to you, Paco. You got to beat Jaco.
All right, what I have to do?
Just gotta pick the games right.
Pick the games.
All of them?
For this
All of
week,
them, but yeah,
Okay.
Robert's gonna do a run through, and then he'll just get each of our picks, and then
Okay,
I'll jot
perfect.
them down.
Let's do that.
All right, folks. Week 12 is here. Can't believe it. We're heading into Thanksgiving already. So, I mean, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're going to find out who's going to really separate. So here we go. We're going to kick things off tomorrow on Amazon Prime, divisional game. The Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to face Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns. Our special guest, Paco. Who do you got in this game?
Is Steelers for sure.
In a blowout, or is it close?
It's gonna be like a 13-point diff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And don't forget, the Steelers came off that hard victory against the Ravens. You don't think they're going to be tired a little bit? No? A little worn out?
Even if they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jake?
yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is the dumpster fire game of the week, but Cleveland for sure is a dumpster fire. Easily the Steelers. Russell Wilson, I think, is going to keep going on this little undefeated win streak that they're on right now. The Steelers win big.
I got the Steelers as well, but I think for some reason it's going to be closer because that's just, I don't know, Pittsburgh likes to do this to us. But Russell Wilson will make one more play and put him over the top. I'm thinking like 17-10 or something like that. Abe?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Yeah, with Russell Wilson, I mean the Browns. They're just, I mean, Chubb really hasn't been getting it off since he came back from the knee injury. So I'm gonna go Steelers on this one.
All right, we're all on the Steelers. Let's move to Sunday. We got the Tennessee Titans, another divisional game. Tennessee Titans traveling to face the Houston Texans with Nico Collins fully back in the mix. Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston. They totally destructed my Cowboys. That's cool. A lot of the Houston fans, that was their Super Bowl, so that's fine. Yeah, Robert Levis, Tennessee ain't got nothing. Yeah, the Texans will continue to do good. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins.
The guy's good, man. I don't know why you don't give him credit.
I know.
Nico is great.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Let's
Yeah, I
keep it
like how
balanced.
see Jake is funny
really
in
good.
that he likes to call other people like haters or whatever, but then like he shows super like haterism towards the Houston Texans.
I'm allowed to have one team that I hate, and that's the Texans.
Well, here's the difference, Jake. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
hate teams. I just tell it like it is.
Like Paco, you can understand this. You have like one team you hate.
I have
Like as
like
an
five
NFL.
teams I hate, maybe three.
I got one. I don't hate the Bucks. Robert might think I hate the Bucks, but I
Nah,
actually
but
root for
but
them.
but Baco can give credit where credit's due to like those teams for whatever, maybe except the
Yeah.
Cowboys. But like anybody else, you just don't like to give credit for anything.
Well, I'm picking the Texans to win this game, but who do you got, Dave?
Yeah, because you have no choice because you look like an idiot if you pick the Titans. All right, Paco, who do you got?
The Titans. Nah, I'm just playing. I got the Texans. I mean, I'll say one quick thing because like this thing is driving me crazy all season. I have a little pick five bet, and the Titans are the worst team with the best defense. Like
Oh, okay.
they're 2-8, and their defense is number 2 in total yards, number 1 against the pass, number 12 against the run. What the fuck? That's just crazy to me. But yeah, the Texans.
Good stats.
Yeah.
Abe, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Texans here. Yeah, with Nico Collins back, Tank Dell, Mixon, jeez.
Nixon.
That guy killed us.
He saved
Hopefully,
my fantasy.
if Will Anderson comes back for that defense, then definite. But either without him, it is an easy win. I got Texans.
I got the Texans as well, and I want to see them score more in the second half, which was like a knock on them, which is why they kept trying to score on the Cowboys because they wanted to show that they can put up a touchdown in the second half, which they did, but they got to do better there, scoring more in the second half. But I got the Texans winning easily here.
Nice.
All right, next up, it is the Minnesota Vikings traveling to face the Chicago Bears. Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, of course I'm gonna go with Minnesota. Sam Darnold again, Justin Jefferson. That combo is just it's pretty unstoppable. The Bears, I was high on Caleb Williams, but I don't know what's going on right now. They're struggling a little bit. It is his first year, so let's not shit on just him. Right now, he could have a comeback year next year or something, or a better year. I got the Vikings.
Well, I mean, they did play better this past week after they fired their OC. And they should have beaten the Packers. The Packers had another. They did what the Chiefs did to the Broncos and just block a kick and then get away with it. So
Yeah.
the Bears were the better team that Sunday. So there was some improvement there, but yeah, I got the Vikings. Brian Flores will scheme up something against this rookie QB and put him in duress all game. So I got the Vikings. Abe, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings too. The Bears. I just think they're a mess, man. I mean, yeah, they fired the OC and they played a little bit better, but not enough. I got Vikings.
Paco?
Same, but for the exact reason that you gave, B-Flow, scheming rookies and second-year quarterbacks is crazy.
Yeah.
And actually, the Bears' defense is not bad, so I think it's going to be closer than most people say they will.
That's fair. All right. Next, man, a lot of these look like one-sided games. The next one, Dallas Cowboys traveling to Washington to face the Commanders. I'm going to let Jake go last here. Paco, who do you got?
I think the Cowboys are going to lose again. So I'm taking Washington. And, I don't have to say much.
Abe?
I'm gonna stick to what I've been saying all season. Commanders are gonna sweep the Cowboys, so I'm gonna go with the Commanders. They're especially playing at home, and that's a tough place. This kid, Jaden Daniels, Robert, that's his name. Is that the quarterback for the Commanders? Yeah,
Yes.
man, he's gonna. Yeah, but what I always say this is that these teams circle the Cowboys on the calendar, and man, it's just gonna be a wreck.
Yeah, I got the Commanders as well. They've kind of been on a little 2-game skid, so they need to get back to being like the crazy phenomenon they were just a few weeks ago, and it'll happen here. And I got Jaden in fantasy, so I see I can see him easily scoring like 4 touchdowns here, maybe one running. Yeah, but the Commanders win huge here, and the Cowboys continue to just on their race to that number 1 pick in the draft. And Jake, you son of a, come on, pick him, you son of a.
Yeah, what do you got?
As I said, folks, on my personal Facebook page, I already have declared the Cowboys season over. No Dak, no chance. Shout out to Brandon. Uh,
Don't
this
loop
would
him
be
into this.
this would be a split if we still had
Oh
Dak.
my.
We would be watching later on. But again, the Cowboys, they're
Pick him.
done. Everything about them is just bad right now. Will it be a blowout? I really hope that it isn't, as much as Robert's saying that Jaden Daniels is going to throw 4 touchdowns for 500 yards.
I
don't
didn't say
think it'll be
500
something
yards.
like
Calm
that.
down.
I think it'll be closer than what we think, but the Cowboys are still going to
Wait,
lose this game.
closer as in what? Give me a score. Let's see. Put your money where your mouth is. How close?
I'll do like a 21-14.
Oh my gosh. So you're picking the Commanders?
Yeah, I got the Commanders though.
Oh man. Even at their
Jeez.
worst, you still can't even just.
Paco, do you think this game's going to be close, Paco, or blowout?
I don't think so, and it's mostly because of your rushing defense against the Commanders.
The freaking Texans scored on the first play, and yet for
Yeah.
stupid like whatever illegal man downfield or whatever it was, like get out of here. Like the Cowboys are a joke,
Yeah,
man.
it's coming back. It's coming back. It's like I told you.
Oh, shut up! But either way, like the fact that the defense let that happen, like get out of here.
It
Like,
just there was little things like that, but then we did really good on the defense side, and then Cooper comes back, throws a pick. Like if that doesn't happen, the whole momentum changes and stuff. But that's it. I'm not going to try to cover for the Cowboys. Nothing. The season's over.
what are you
I'm
talking
already
about? You
excited.
always cover for them. Get out of here. Whatever. We're all on Washington here. Next up, another divisional game. My New England Patriots traveling to face Tua and the Miami Dolphins with Drake May this time, not Jacoby Brissett. I think the Patriots are going to make it feisty and fun. I think it'll be close for a while, but I think ultimately Mike McDaniel is more creative, and I don't trust the Patriots defense to hold. But this could be a shootout because Drake May is not afraid to sling it. So, but I got the Dolphins winning here. See, Jake, I can pick against my team. Paco, who do you got?
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to take this one, and mostly because of the defense. I think it's pretty underrated. They have one of the best passing Ds, and these nuts. Not sorry about that. And they have a couple of good corners, and I think mostly because of that, and the way Mike McD, former 49er by the way, is gonna scheme with the running backs. I think that the Dolphins are gonna take this one.
Gotcha. All right, Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, with Tua being back for a couple of games now, he's still he's dealing with that concussion still. But Mike McDaniel's just a really hell of a coach. New England, I can't really speak on them because that's one team I just don't care for or watch. Sorry, Robert.
I mean, you should if you're on this football show. You should know
But
players.
you guys, maybe I'll start paying attention a little to them. Drake May, you are making a case for this kid or whatever, so we'll see what's up. I still got Miami. Tyreek Hill will probably ball out at home. Tua, like I said, he's looking okay after suffering the concussion. Abe, what do you got?
Wait, hang on. I picture Jake on YouTube, right, watching like Drake May highlights, and he's like, "Fuck, he is better than Dak," but I'll never admit it. But I'll never admit it. Abe, who do you got?
The Dolphins are playing at home. The Dolphins have had Tua back for some time now. Tyreek Hill and Waddle, they're not in sync. I like this Drake May kid. I like Stevenson, the running back. I like Bourne. And I also like the tight end, which is Hunter Henry. I'm going to go with the Pats here.
Yeah.
I think it might be. It's not going to be like a blowout, but I think it might be maybe like a 20-21 with the Pats winning. Drake May doing like a final play or one last drive and gets that touchdown.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
interesting game.
All
I
right,
don't
all
hate it.
right.
I don't hate it. All right, next up is how did the Chiefs land this cupcake schedule? The Kansas City Chiefs traveling to face the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. Paco, who do you got?
Next game, bro. Chiefs.
All right. Jake.
The Kansas Swifty Chiefs, as Brando says. Yeah. Who's starting? Bryce Young, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
even with
Who
yeah,
cares?
exactly. Who cares? I mean, even with him, I mean, yeah, the Chiefs are gonna just bounce back from the game, and
Yeah, and you're gonna
it's gonna
pound your chest over this win, aren't you?
it's gonna be an utter destruction. Chiefs.
Hi. Jeez, man.
Dude, if the Chiefs can't stomp this team, tell me how they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, like, can the Chiefs dominate in one game, please? Like, show me that
No.
you're like the dynasty. Like, everyone's already putting you ahead of New England and everybody. Like, come on, Kansas City, show me something. Like, put up a 50 burger on this team, please. Show me something. And
Okay.
I'm picking the Chiefs, but
Yeah.
show me something. Abe,
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I don't really have much to say. I'm going Chiefs.
all right. Next up, Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay Buccaneers off the bye with Mike Evans returning to
Mike
face Tommy
Evans.
DeVito in the New York
Oh,
Giants.
Jake DeVito.
Robert DeVito.
I don't know why Jake's laughing. They're about to get stomped. The Cowboys are about to get stomped by them, by Tommy DeVito. Gabagool on Thanksgiving.
Bafangula.
Not a chance.
Buccaneers need to go on a run here. They cannot lose anymore if they
I
want a
agree.
chance to even sniff the wild card. And it starts here in New York. I got the Bucks big. Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with your Bucks. Godwin's been is out for the season, but you have Evans returning. That's huge. He's probably like in my top three favorite receivers.
Mhm.
He's going to be a big, help to Baker. I mean, this is what Baker's been needing. He needed his right hand man back. Y'all's defense is pretty good though. I mean, y'all kept,
Mm,
y'all put kept the Chiefs there. So, I
that
mean,
wasn't because of the defense though.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
so are they like the defense is horrible, Abe? You would say?
They're not horrible,
They're like a
but
bend and break.
I mean, I think it's good that they have Vita Vea there because
Yeah.
without him,
They do get Jamal Dean back, which is kind of huge in the back end, but where they've kind of really struggled. So
If New York somehow pulls this win though with DeVito, I mean,
ah,
no, you can speak. You can
no.
speak. What if they do? Then I mean,
that's
the Bucks have no reason being anywhere near the playoff conversation.
I got the Bucks.
The Bucks have had a hard schedule. Like I hate to say it, like it was a
That's
tough
true.
schedule.
It is. Tough schedule.
Paco, who do you got?
I think the Bucks win by 5.
By
I think
5?
I think it's gonna be closer than we think.
Oh shit! I mean, the
But
Giants'
the Bucks,
defense is. I mean, they're not all stars, but they're formidable.
I just think that new
DeVito.
quarterback, a little bit of a stir. I think the Giants are not gonna,
Gotcha. No, I get that.
shit the bed. So like, as usual. That's
Okay.
it. But
Okay,
the Bucks
that's-
should win.
That's fair. Abe,
I'm gonna go with the Bucks on this one. Huge because of the return of Mike Evans. Um, but yeah, I'm going Bucks.
I think DeVito's gonna be like, "Where's my boy Malik? Bang, 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 all day."
Freaking DeVito.
all right. Next up, we got the Detroit Lions traveling on the road to face the Indianapolis Colts. This is an interesting game. Paco, who do you got?
The Lions win, but it's not gonna be a blowout. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Gotcha.
I'll say
Jake?
this about
Oh,
the Lions
sorry.
quickly. Sorry. Ever since the Hutchinson went down, their running defense hasn't been as good. So if they face a run heavy team, it's not gonna be a blowout, I think.
Okay. That's a good point. Jake?
Yeah, with Anthony Richardson, and like you guys saying, like I thought they were giving up on him or whatever. I guess that was the truth or whatever because the media was spinning that. Uh,
Oh, what do you know? Media spinning things for a narrative.
I just saw it
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. I mean, but I guess, they declared Anthony Richardson, they're going to go with him, and then Flacco is back on the bench since last week. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be a closer game. For some reason, I just feel like the Colts and Anthony Richardson are going to give Detroit some problems here. But I still got
Pick him,
Detroit
pick
winning.
him. Ah, you.
How so? Like, I'm
Just based off
curious
the
to know.
last
I'm
game,
curious to know your analysis on why you think the Colts are going to give the Lions trouble.
just based off the last game, as far as the Lions, I think I may be thinking of a different game, but they were kind of doing kind of bad for a little while, and then all of a sudden they started smashing whoever
Uh-huh.
they were playing. Can't think who was it who they played this past weekend, Abe?
The
Who?
Jags.
The
The
Colts?
Jags.
Oh, the
No.
Jags?
Yeah, the
Lions? Yeah, they
Lions.
play the Jags. Yeah.
So it started off kind of weird, right? But then they started smashing them. Is
They
that
stomped him.
the entire time? That
Yeah,
I'm
it
thinking maybe
was
the
against
last game.
Houston when you talking about.
Is that the one I'm talking? Yeah, I'm thinking of that one maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. The Colts aren't like a scrubbish team though, so that's why I think they give Lions some trouble.
Colts could be feisty if they want to. But I'm still going to go Detroit, but I'm with Baco here. It's going to be a lot more competitive than what we think. Remember the Lions the last time they were in somebody else's home in a dome, uh, kind of struggled, even though Houston doesn't have the best defense. I don't know. This is interesting, but I'm still picking the Lions in a close one. Abe,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Lions too. I mean, the Colts, they're playing at home. They play better when they're at home.
mm-hmm.
But I think I mean, it might be close. I think it'll be a close game, but I got to go Lions still with the win.
Pick 'em, Abe. No, you want to?
Lions. Pick the Lions.
You schmuck.
All right, we're on the Lions here.
Okay.
Let's keep it moving. Next up, we got another divisional game. The Denver Broncos.
Nice.
Off an impressive win against the Falcons, but then again, anybody can score on the Falcons,
Except for the Cowboys.
except for the Cowboys. They're going to travel to face the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams need this win. Baco, who do you think comes out on top in this one?
Broncos win this one, and I don't know. I think it's gonna be like a 20-7 kind of game.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. I got the Broncos as well. Sean Payton's got this team playing really well. Bo Nix is looking like he's been the best rookie QB in these last couple of weeks. You know, he outplayed Mahomes a few weeks ago, but a lot of quarterbacks have been outplaying Mahomes this year. So, I mean,
He's been way better than Caleb Williams.
for sure.
Easily.
Um,
Caleb's overrated, man.
so yeah, right now it looks like a race between him and Jaden for rookie of the year. I'm trying to think who else might be up there. Those are probably the two that come to mind. But either way, I got the Broncos winning here. Abe, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Bo Nix is the better quarterback in this matchup, and the defense of the Broncos is really good, especially with Patrick Surtain. So I'm going Broncos here.
Jake?
I'm gonna go opposite of you
Pick
guys.
Minshew.
I am. I'm going with Gardner Minshew and the Raiders at home. Maybe they can pull out this victory. That one dude on the defense, Abe's always talking about
Max Crosby.
Hopefully the defense and Crosby can just put pressure on Knicks. And if that happens, we'll see what's up. I got the Raiders.
You should have gone with the safe route and picked the Denver because Paco might beat you in the standings, man.
All right.
I'm gonna give you the Raiders.
Moving on. Another divisional game. Baco's probably hoping this one ends in a tie. It's the Arizona Cardinals traveling to face the Seattle Seahawks. This is Baco's division. Who do you got?
I fucking hate these teams, but Arizona should win this. And I think it's one of the most underrated rushing attacks in the NFL. Connor has been great. And when that rookie comes online, Harrison Jr., might be a little scary. So I think Arizona's going to win this.
They've been on a streak too, right? Like they haven't lost in a while because I had
Yeah.
them as like this team that's up and down, like they win and they lose.
They won 4 in a row.
Oh crap! You don't think it comes to a head here? You think they make it
They
5?
yeah. Hmm.
Damn. Jake, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Seattle. And the reasons why is because Geno Smith, man, he's just doing really good this year. I think he has his two receiver weapons with the DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But then you even got this other guy, I don't know, Jackson Smith and Ninjaba or whatever. Abe probably
Yeah.
knows him.
Why do you have him in fantasy?
No, he had the most yards this past week. Uh, and the loss and the win against the 49ers. But yeah, I got the Seahawks. I don't know. Kyler Murray, like you said, they've been on this little run, Paco, but
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of Kyler Murray.
That's fine.
You don't
I
like
don't
Kyler
really-
Murray?
Just
He's a
pissed that they
gamer. I'm
beat
shocked
us.
you don't like him.
Yeah, that is true though. Mark, shout out to Mark, was telling me he plays a lot of COD or whatever, but that doesn't mean anything. Fuck. But yeah.
Okay. Abe, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. This is a tough place to play.
There you go.
And Geno Smith putting the 49ers to bed last week. I think he'll do the same with Kyler. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals, but I'm going for
Ah.
narrative reasons here because all these teams are 5-5, except for the Cardinals, right? But if they're going to win a division, give them the win, right? And have these teams lose, and it'll help out the Bucks. So another Seahawks loss here would do wonders for the Bucks, especially if they win. So yeah, give me Arizona on the road with Kyler Murray, 5 in a row. That's crazy, but I need it. Cardinals. All right. Next up, it's the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Lambeau to face Jordan Love and the Packers. I think this is America's game of the week. Tom Brady on the
It
call.
is.
Baco, this is your team. Hit us with how this game's going to go.
Oh man. This is one of those that anything can happen, but I think we can pull off the win, especially if Kittle comes back. We do need him. Actually, I'm not sure about Bosa though, so that's a little bit scary. But I think we have enough to win the game, although it's gonna be close as fuck.
Real quick, Paco Debo, he's not injury prone right now.
No, he's good, but it's just Debo hasn't been the same. He lost a lot of weight and this season, and it hasn't been the same.
Okay. Jake, who do you got?
Yeah, I jumped the gun on this one when I was doing my picks. I picked the Green Bay Packers just because at home they do really well, and Jordan Love is not a scrub, you know. And then what's his name? Jacobs been running pretty good for them.
Mhm.
But if I had to re-choose based off our Paco and us talking 49ers earlier, with McCaffrey maybe doing a lot better, what you call it? As we just talked about, Debo, maybe he steps up. Kittle is going though.
He hasn't practiced, but maybe he will. I think might be.
Not sure
Well,
on that one.
This is
Yeah,
this is I know this may not play like too much of a factor, but the weather is going to be in the high 40s, low 30s in Green Bay, so I don't know
That matters.
how's Purdy in weather. I haven't has he-
Actually, I don't know about that.
interesting.
So we'll
Keep
see.
an
I
eye
got
on
the
that.
Packers though.
Yeah.
I
Who
got
do
the
you got,
Packers,
Jake?
Abe. Packers.
Okay.
Abe, who do you got?
His team is pissed though. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yeah, this is gonna be a good game, but fuck that little Steven Marble fuck guy. So I'm gonna go with the 49ers on this one. I think Kittle is gonna play. Steven or Schefter has given me the insight. He's probably gonna play.
Hey,
So Robert hates when I fucking break news. Robert fucking hates it anyway. So
hey.
I'm gonna go with the Niners. The Niners need this. I think Purdy's gonna play as well. And so I'm gonna go Niners on this game.
All right.
Robert.
Narratives
Oh
part
my
2.
fucking gosh, dude! Gosh
The
damn.
NFC West is in my way, man. Give me Green Bay. Give me Jordan Love at home. Get these Niners, the Seahawks, and the Rams out of here. Like, get them out of my rear view and make a way for Tampa
This
to.
fits my narrative.
Well, that's my narrative. I need the.
No, this fits mine to beat you in the standings. But go ahead, yeah, pick the
Oh,
Broncos.
whatever. I'm gonna get a leg up either way because I got a 2-3 game lead. Yeah, give me Green Bay at home. With the weather, I don't know. This 49ers team is just not the same, and they're out of sync. And I think it may take a few more games for them to get in rhythm, and then by then it might be too late. We're all good on this game.
We're good.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we got the Sunday night game. NBC, the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to face the Los Angeles Rams. Let me go first because narrative's part 3.
Gosh,
Eagles, get rid of the Rams, please. Get them out of the way. You've already got a secure spot for the NFC East, so the Rams, I just need them to get one more loss, and we're good. So I like them at home or on the road in LA. They'll have more fans, by the way, because we know whatever LA team plays in SoFi, the other team has more fans, so that'll help them. Jake, who do you got?
I'm gonna go, even though I like Stafford and the Rams with Puka Nakua and fucking what's Cooper Cup. They've been doing pretty good. They look good. I love receivers, guys, as I always praise.
Really, they were struggling against the Patriots.
Okay, but they're star receivers still. They can have a good bounce back. Nice try. But again, Philly's just Saquon, man. If he starts going, he starts running all crazy over there. Jalen Hurts and Brown. What's the AJ Brown, Abe? If they connect pretty well,
pick the Rams. Then what are you doing?
I should have, but I early pick, and to be safe, I got Philadelphia.
Okay. Paco?
Can I go last on this one, please?
Okay, sure. Abe?
I'm gonna go with the Eagles on this one. Too much offense for the Eagles.
Yeah.
And Rams defense, they're depleted. I'm going Eagles big on this one.
Yeah, baby. Let's get them out of the way. Let's make way for the Bucks, everybody. Now, this is all null and void if they lose to the Giants, though, so whatever. Ready, Paco?
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, Lone Wolf, baby, or in this case, Lone Fox. The Rams. The Rams are going to win this game. All right?
Bitch. Why are they?
Let me tell you why they're going to win this game. Eagles secondary overrated. They haven't really faced a passing attack like this, in my opinion. Then the Rams win this game around 24-23. It'll be a close game.
Who's affected by the secondary, Robert? Puka and Cooper Cup. They're going to fucking outshine that secondary.
You didn't even know about the secondary until he talked about it. So get the fuck out of here with that, Jake.
Okay, well, no, because you want to shit on Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup.
I didn't, but I'm like, that's literally all you had to say. Like, get out of here. You're a fugaz.
Sorry to interrupt.
Because of the Eagles secondary. You can't even name me anybody on the Eagles secondary.
I can't because I'm an offensive guy. But whatever.
Is Brian Dawkins still playing?
He's like, Donovan McNabb's the quarterback, right?
Okay.
Andy Reid still coaches his
I
team.
mentioned Jalen Hurts just a minute ago. But nice.
Oh, yeah, quarterback. That's so hard to name. All right, so Paco's the only one here on the Rams, right? Or are you too, Jake?
No, he was the Eagles.
No. I had the Eagles.
Okay. All right, last game on the docket, Monday Night Football. Harbaugh Bowl 3, I believe.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this game was happening.
Oh, crap. We didn't even pick games of the week.
Game of the weeks.
This probably would have been my game of the week, but it's too late. I guess we can just call this the game of the week, probably, maybe.
This is the Robert and Abe show right here.
It's the Baltimore Ravens traveling to face the Los Angeles Chargers, which means it's a home game for Baltimore. Gosh, Jake, who do you got in this game?
Man, this one's going to be a really good game to watch. I hope it's competitive. I'm going to go with Baltimore. Derrick Henry, he did kind of bad. He had that major fumble this last game. That could have been a decider in the game, them losing that one. I think he'll bounce back, have a really good game. Lamar as well will perform pretty good. But again, the Chargers defense, Robert, that's pretty good, right?
I think so.
So they'll give them, a run for their money maybe. But you can't. Again, this is a hard one to choose, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Herbert's fucking awesome right now. McConkey or whatever. Baltimore.
Paco, who do you got?
I got the Chargers, my boy.
Oh,
I think the Chargers are going to beat Baltimore. I think Baltimore is a bit one-dimensional, overrated because of it. And sometimes Lamar can definitely put on a show and throw it all over. I just don't think this is going to be one of those games, and I don't think they're going to be able to rush as well as they rush versus this team, as well as they rush against any other team.
Gotcha.
That's literally what I told my guy last week against the Steelers. I said they're not going to be themselves, and it's going to be tough. Like it's going to be on Lamar, and it's going to be a very similar game.
Why do you think that is though? Like why is it that Baltimore goes away from what it is against these teams like a Kansas City or a Pittsburgh? Like why don't they? What is it like? Are they trying to be like too clever and try to, go left when they think they're going right, or what is it?
What do you mean by that, Robert? Like with Lamar always running? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's like the pedigree of what they are, like the combo of Henry and him. But then when it came to like the Chiefs and the Steelers, like Lamar's throwing it like I think more than at least 50 times or something like that, like getting away from what you are. Like I don't know why, and it's never worked out for them when they go that route.
NFL's rigged? No, I don't know. I'm just kidding.
What?
I think that I mean the very first play it was like tone established. Like you ain't gonna be running on us. Derrick Henry fumble, against the Steelers.
Yeah.
It's I think they get away from it because they don't have early success, and a lot of times you just want to adapt and switch things around. But people forget that defense do get gas in the fourth quarter. If you're running all day, even if it's not working, and you're keeping a close game, fourth quarter defense is going to be tired as hell from stopping the run. So,
or again, it proves your point. The whole like one-dimensional.
Exactly.
There you go.
So I think Chargers.
All right. Jake, you said the
Jake picked the Ravens. Yeah,
Jake picked the Ravens. Abe.
Yeah.
Pick them, Abe. Pick them.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers here on this one. It's gonna be a close game though, real close.
Yeah.
But I think Lamar does a mess up. He fucks up somewhere, and I think the Chargers, take this one right here. Chargers.
So against any other team, I'd probably pick the Ravens based on the loss that they had. But it's Pittsburgh. It was probably super physical. And the Chargers were also in an emotional game last week against the Bengals, in which they won. So they may come down a little bit after that high. But I still think that the Chargers are going to match up well with the Ravens. And they may force Lamar, like Abe said, to mess up somewhere where it's a crucial fumble or a pick. And the Chargers run out the clock and maybe win by a field goal, maybe 23-20, something like that, where the Chargers don't have to beat you like scoring a lot of points. It's just total physical and just winning the trenches. So I got the Chargers here at home.
Real quick score, guys. Prediction.
I said 23-20 Chargers.
Abe.
I'm gonna go 2017 Chargers.
Paco.
I'm gonna go 24-20.
Jake.
Very similar.
I was gonna say around what Paco said, 24-21.
Yeah, very similar to you guys. Here's a quick thing. Baltimore's defense, passing defense, last in the league. Yeah. Passing defense. I trust Herbert to throw it all over Baltimore.
Everywhere.
So
yeah,
they don't have to, but if they have to,
that's where maybe they get that extra. They get they get that one play to get them into field goal range.
Yes.
All right, good stuff, guys. That is the end of the Week 12 lineup. Yeah, this is probably the game of the week. Niners, Packers could be interesting. Eagles, Rams too. Other than that, it's a lot of lopsided games we looked at here. So those are probably the top three, and they're all in the later part of the schedule. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode, and I want to thank our special guests, Paco, Frank, to probably most of your friends and everybody else. Always appreciate you making the time to come out and talk to us, man. Like you know, you're always welcome on this show. You and I go way back forever, so you got my loyalty, my friendship forever, man. And I appreciate your dialogue and our conversations about football. So, I mean, it's been a pleasure having you, man.
Hell yeah, man. Likewise. Likewise to you. Pleasure to always be here with you guys and just chatting up.
Oh yeah, man. Appreciate you, Paco, for coming on the show, man, and look forward to having you back on here. Hopefully by the end of this season or whenever.
Please,
Maybe the Niners make the Super Bowl. You never know.
please.
You never
Yeah,
know.
you'll be back for sure, Paco.
If we play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs, get me back here, all right?
Okay, yeah. Hey, we didn't go into it on that, man. Oh man, that fucking game, man. We had you.
Hey, man,
know
talk
it
to
too.
Toretto. Talk to Toretto.
Oh man. Whatever. So okay, we'll able lock that down. So if the Niners make the playoffs and the Bucks and somehow they meet, or even if they just make the playoffs in general, we'll have you back on the show to talk whatever round it is that we end up doing.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, guys. You can find this podcast on most of your podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I distribute it through podbean.com. They have their own app if you want to get the episode. As soon as I put it up, it goes right on there. But then it shows up everywhere else. Not too long after that. So the socials, I run the Facebook page at 2 Minute Drive Podcast. Jake runs the Instagram account, again, also 2 Minute Drive Podcast. Abe runs the X account at URoughness or URoughness Pod, or also search 2 Minute Drive with the number 2. And he also takes inquiries through our email address at 2 Minute Drive Podcast at outlook.com. That's 2 spelled TWO. Anything else you guys need to plug before we get out of here?
No, I'm just always active on Instagram. I got, the posting the pictures of the games, usually the upcoming games. Yeah, try to keep it active.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
well, I'd like some more traffic going through the email. I mean, if anybody wants to submit pics or just say something in general, I'd like that. I know Brandon's pretty active on the email and stuff like that. I appreciate him.
Yeah,
But I like to
thanks.
see more of that, more active going with the emails and that way we can say stuff on the air, whoever wants to do something or make their picks. But yeah,
Have we had little schmuck Steven yet on the show this season? Abe, no, right?
no, we haven't had him.
Nah, we got to get little Steven, man. When the Packers, I don't know, when they play somebody, we'll see. We'll get you, little Steven.
All right, guys. Special thanks again to Paco for coming on. I know we were recording late here. Appreciate his time. But this is a fun episode to do. A lot of good conversation. Appreciate everybody here on this podcast. Just continue to do good work. And we will see everybody back here on Thanksgiving Eve next week as we move closer and closer to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. So for Abraham Trevino and Jake Ramirez, I'm Palace signing us off for the night. Thank you all and enjoy the games this weekend. Take it
Good
easy,
night.
guys.
Later, guys.
Yeah, later.